Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
You are most welcome to PENDREAM TV, the only channel that brings you the best and latest updates in politics. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell for more updates. Like and also share to other members to watch as well. You can equally leave a comment after watching or send us a voice note on our WhatsApp number 0277 128 777. Thank you. I want you to join me listening to what Ablakwa, an Aura team member, has also come out to say about how they are going to tackle the people who create loot and share in MPP's government. With that much I would like you to join me listening to what he said into detail. Thank you.
No, it has to continue. I mean, if it doesn't continue, it means that we are not seeking the national interest. It means that what we do is just for political power. Then what's the end? We lose credibility.
Order from above.
And it means that you have just wasted all your time, risked your life for nothing. So it's going to continue. And you see, even with the exposés, remember that more than 95% of them did not receive any action. As we speak, let me list a few of them. The criminals who rebagged the expired Moshosho rice in a government facility. Can you believe that? In a government facility, the National Food Buffer Stock Company, and went to serve our children over 22,000 bags of rice. Served our children across secondary school with that insect-infested, contaminated rice, according to the FDA's own test results of 6 February 2024. Nobody has been held liable. The NAFCO people who conspired with Laments, that dubious company, dangerous. If you read the Auditor General's report, if you look at their conduct as revealed by the Auditor General in 2021, nobody has been held liable. I have to continue. I must be interested. I must pursue this matter to the logical conclusion. The directors of Laments must be prosecuted. The people at NAFCO who allowed their storage facility to become a crime scene, to be used for that criminal rebagging, which has jeopardized the health of our students. We have to go after them. The ambulance spare parts cabal, the president's daughters and their business partners, who inflated the purchase of the ambulance. We should not have paid anything beyond $24 million. We paid over $54 million for the ambulance. And then for spare parts, $34.9 million before Ken Ofori-Atta left office, after he was booted out. He released $10 million to them. We have to go after that. So this crusade will continue whilst we are in government. And then, you see, when people keep asking, oh, will you expose the corruption of your... It creates a certain impression as if all of us are coming to power to just come and loot. I don't think that President Mahama will tolerate this, will allow what we have seen under the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government to continue. So if there's nothing to expose, you can't intercept. But if there is, certainly we have to expose it. Don't forget that under the first Mahama government, look at what happened to even the likes of Victoria Hammer, just for dreaming. Compare that to Cecilia Dapa, actual $1 million under her bed, more than that. And what did the president do? When she resigned, the president responded with a love letter. My dear Cecilia Dapa, I know you've been vindicated. You will come out clean. Your love letter. How do you expect that after that love letter, Yoko, OSP, CID, the state institutions responsible for investigation, prosecution will do their work? Because you don't want to be on a collusion course with the appointing authority. You don't want to expose the president. So, is anybody surprised that nothing happened? There are more scandals. The land grab, the AU village lands that they paid 183,000 cedis for. I mean, 183,000 cedis. Land that even if you have $1 million, you struggle to get. Nobody will even entertain your offer. 183,000 cedis. And you have governor of the central bank, all his deputies, top ministers, women organizer of the MPP. They shared it among themselves like confetti. So Operation Recover All Loot. We have not forgotten about all of that.
Okay.
The airport testing scandal, the COVID-19, Benedict Peters and the Nigerian cabal who conspired because they are Akufo-Addo's cronies and came to engage in that loot. It's been confirmed, the health minister confirmed in parliament during vetting that they did not even have approval from HEFRA. They didn't follow the procurement laws. And yet, this guy, when people were dying during COVID, came to just loot and walk away, has pocketed hundreds of millions of dollars. Then DRIP, the Baumia's flagship project, the District Road Improvement Project. Let's serve notice. If you look at that contract, they want the new government to pay the rest. It's not going to happen. Okay. It is inflated by $102 million. After intercepting the documents, doing an RTI request, I asked for the prices of this road equipment, road construction equipment, as if, I sent emails presenting myself as though I was interested, I wanted to procure, And I was shocked. The levels of inflation. So that DRIP project should have cost Ghana just $76 million. And yet, the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia government, something Bawumia spearheaded, he committed Ghana to a $178 million.
What?
Yes. Added $102 million to it. Inflated by $102 million. I mean, sheer wickedness. And that was even single source. Bawumia is the one who was tweeting in opposition that the era of sole sourcing, of single source, is coming to an end. And yet the Auditor General has revealed, if you read his special audit on cocoa roads, that 87% of cocoa road projects were single source. And then he did an analysis, the single source road contracts, and then the ones that were done competitively. And he noticed that. He noticed that. It was 3 times inflated when they were single source.
I'll let you hold on with this.
And guess what? Baumia's brother's company, Resource Assets Limited, is at the center of that.
Okay.
So, look, they are not going to get away with these things. Operation Recover or Loot is going to work. We'll set it in motion, and I'm glad that it's one of President Mohammed's 120-day policy interventions that he has promised. And the Ghanaian people have voted for us because of that. And we are still passionate. We are not going to say because we've won elections, we are going to let things go. No.
We'll follow through with it.
We'll follow through, pursue these matters, and retrieve these resources and these assets for the Ghanaian people.
Well, we have some to besiege the facility and take over completely. We're not sure exactly why they've decided to do this, but my colleague Godwin Asidiba is on the ground, and we want to hear from him exactly what the situation is like at the moment. And like I said, so military has been dispatched, and this is because some young people, we're told, have decided to go over to Ghana Gas to take over.
Discuss with the leaders of the young men who are here. From information that we are gathering on grounds, it is alleged that these thugs are members of the National Democratic Congress who have besieged the premises for reasons that we do not know. Earlier, when I tried to get information from them, they made mention of the fact that we would have to wait for their leaders to come in before anyone will be able to talk to us. You can clearly see them. Tano, if you can move to the side, you can see a man running towards the screen holding a gun. I cannot confirm exactly where he is coming from because a few minutes away we heard some gunshots in the air, and we don't know where these people are from. They are not wearing police uniforms or any military attire, but just a few minutes ago we heard that there were some gunshots in the air. We are also seeing people holding shokers and also pressing it whilst it makes some noise in the air. There are quite a number of them. We can clearly see some 2 men assisted by others who have used an electricity pole to block the road, and it's turning quite chaotic as these people continue to come towards us. It's becoming quite chaotic as we would have to take to our heels because they have seen our cameras. They're running towards us. We cannot really say that this environment is safe, but these are live pictures coming to you from the gas house, which is the Ghana Gas Company here in Jowulu. Earlier, the people were really calm about the whole exercise that we cannot really tell exactly what this exercise is about, but a few minutes after the military were deployed here, about 10 of them, it really sparked the anger of the thugs who have been lurking around for quite some time, agitating some gunshots in the air. They've driven every individual who does not belong to their camp away, and at the moment they've used an electric pole to block the road that leads towards the entrance of Ghana Gas. This is creating some sort of tension around the premises, and also the people, I can clearly see from the entry point, also having some sort of conversations. Quite a number of people have taken to their heels to run away, and you can also see that cars that are bypassing are also in a haste to move away from the premises. We cannot confirm exactly how this is going to pan out or how it would end at the area, but I can confirm to you that it is not something that looks really healthy or something that will come to an understanding amicably. We can also see some police officials who have been deployed here right away in their safety gear and helmets right in front of Compu Ghana. Most of them actually took to their heels whilst we're also running for safety. But we can clearly see them on their motorbikes, others also standing as well. They haven't been able to move to the side for us to know if there will be any sort of conversation that would happen, to know if the people will become enough. Just like I indicated, we don't know the reason why they have besieged the premises, but they have been here for close to 3 hours. When we got here about an hour ago and we tried going in there to have a conversation with the thugs to get to find out the reason why they are here, they refused to engage us and also made mention that they do not want any camera around the premises. But we're also told that they are waiting for their boss to come before they will be able to engage the media. That's a vehicle with a police inscription written on the back of it, with quite a number of men, about 7, seated at the boot side.
All right, so that's Godwin Asidiba. He is at the Ghana Gas Company in Jowlu, right here in Accra. And per his reports, there's some young people who have decided to besiege the premises, and they say they're taking over. He's trying to investigate to find out, but unfortunately, the security personnel that have been dispatched to the venue have refused to engage the media until their boss gives them the clearance. And so we'll be waiting for Godwin to get some more information on this so we can apprise you. But at the moment, we're told some irate youth have besieged the Ghana Gas Company. And so if you're around there, please be safe, especially because he did mention that there were some gunshots, and I'm sure it's probably from the security trying to disperse the crowd or at least warn them from whatever activity it is they may be engaged in. But we'll let you know as we move along. But let's carry on with our conversation in the studio. I still have Honorable Sam Okudzeto Ablakwa. I have Professor Titus Bayu and Mr. Richard Kumado here with us. And we're just talking about some of the scandals. He's assuring us that, this NDC government is going to investigate and prosecute, where found guilty, some of the individuals who are involved in the many scandals that have come up, some of which he personally brought to the fore. And so we hope that that really happens. But let me go to Professor as well. Or you had some...
Yes.
Okay, just 2 minutes, yes, please, so that I can let Prof...
wrap up on that. But,
okay.
But before I do that, let me strongly condemn the scenes that your correspondent on the ground in Jowlu just put across. We don't have the details. We don't know who are those behind it. But violence is violence. It ought to be condemned, no matter what the reason is. The youth who are engaged in that, their concerns can be addressed through peaceful means. You don't have to be wielding guns and machetes and electric poles. You don't do that. And let me use this opportunity to also talked to our rank and file. There have been reports of our young people taking over state institutions, municipal district assemblies, and assets that belong to the state and all of that as a sign of victory and we taking over. This has been going on election after election. It has become like the symbol of victory to show that you have won an election. So you go take over public toilets and toll booths. You remember in the past, you know, and then they go into assemblies and look, these things are so archaic, so outmoded. It is not in character with our leader. President Mahama is a very peaceful person. That's why last night in his speech, he said that, look, you can celebrate briefly, but your celebration should not cross the line. Don't venture into criminal activity because we can't defend you when you are arrested. And I hope the youth are watching and listening. If you are arrested, don't expect that any of us will come. And because what you have done, you don't have our permission, our authorization to engage in that conduct. So I want to use this medium to re-echo the advice that has come from our flag bearer-elect, from our national leadership. Yesterday, the General Secretary and the IGP held a joint press conference and asked our supporters to be law-abiding in their celebration, not to take over state institutions. So that is important to emphasize.
That was more than the 2 minutes.
So I can't go back to
so you hold on,
okay.
let Prof come in and let's please. Because the moment he said that, I was concerned. Should we not have...
Because there's an agri department.
Exactly.
There's an agri department.
They have warehouses.
There are warehouses, you know, and these were the items they were using for vote buying.
We're using them for campaign.
They came to our constituencies with them.
Distributing
fertilizers, walleting boats.
December.
And you see, in Parliament, we had raised concern about that so-called emergency plan that there's a drought in the north. And we said that, look, let's have the plan. How much are you going to spend? How is the procurement being done? How are these fertilizers being deployed? You know, who is receiving them? What are the names? Who is signing for them? It shouldn't become a vote-buying gimmick. They didn't listen to us. They snubbed us. But let me salute these young, patriotic citizens. That is what Article 41F of the Constitution enjoins us to do. And let me read Article 41F. Article 41 provides, the exercise and enjoyment of rights and freedoms is inseparable from the performance of duties and obligations, and accordingly, it shall be the duty of every citizen, I go to F, to protect and preserve public property and expose and combat misuse and waste of public funds and property. So what they are doing falls squarely within Article 41F, where the Constitution enjoins all of us to be patriotic citizens, vigilant citizens, nationalistic, who will always make sure that the public purse is protected, public property is protected, that we combat misuse. So once they are doing it peacefully, I don't see them holding any cudgels, any weapons. They are not there with guns, and they have been very orderly. They are just keeping an eye, and they say that due to their vigilance, they've already been able to stop
street lights.
Stop the movement of street lights. Only God knows what they were going to do with them. Were they going to sell them? You know, where were they going to hide them? And so that level of vigilance is key. Now, this brings me to a latest interception I have made. And that interception is about ongoing recruitment, last-minute recruitments.
Okay.
Great Co. If the CEO is watching me, I know what you are doing right now. Now.
What is he doing?
I have all the documents. These last-minute recruitments, they are determined to saddle the next administration with a huge fiscal burden. These young people have been asking for jobs for years. You refuse to listen. Unemployment shot up to 14.7%. You've lost an election, and you are hurriedly calling party apparatchiks, and you are doing emergency recruitments. Great Co, BOG, PMMC, FDA, the Food and Drugs Authority. They better stop it. They should stop.
When did they start this recruitment?
This last-minute, midnight recruitments. over the last few hours, you know, when it became clear that they have lost the election, this is what they are doing before they are booted out of those offices. They ought to stop it. And I'll urge you in the media, call these CEOs. They cannot deny it and follow through. It is wrong. You see, why do you want to saddle the next administration? You are already leaving us with a huge public debt. You had a young man, if they divide the 30 cities and all of that. You came to meet the public debt at 122 billion. You've taken it to 750 billion. You have nothing to show for it, apart from corruption and state capture. We are thinking how to go around that with the debt exchange program, how to negotiate with all these people. And because what they did was just to kick the can down the road. Yeah. So 2025, 2026, President Mahama has to look for money to clean up Akufo-Addo Bawumia mess. And then you are adding more wahala. Why? Why? Those recruitments should stop. Gridco, Bank of Ghana, FDA. We know what you are doing. Those clandestine, midnight, last-minute recruitments should stop. And those who think that they can go and receive these appointment letters and have some guarantees, they should know that they are joking.
What's going to happen to them?
There is no guarantee, because in this country, we have laws for engaging people in the public service. Was there an advertisement?
Okay.
Was there an interview? Did they follow due process? So if you are part of, we are not saying Ghanaian people shouldn't get jobs, but be part of a credible process. Yeah. Follow due process, follow the law. So if this is just about packing the place with party food soldiers to compensate them because of your mismanagement, neglecting them for all these years, not listening to them. Look at how they treated even the NAPCO people. People who have worked, you just sack them like that abruptly, refuse to pay them. Now, when the die is cast, you have been punished. You are engaging in all of this very cruel, conduct, which is going to just saddle this country with more fiscal burden. So, all those receiving those appointment letters know that it will not be respected because you have not gone through a credible process. You are not following due process. It is not transparent. It is not above board. And so you are just wasting your time. Okay. So they should stop those things.
All right. And Media General will investigate the issues that you think, or in terms of the power that the president has, what are some of the things that should be taken away from it?
There are a wide range of areas that the Ghanaian people expect a constitutional review to address. And fortunately, President-elect has been very, very specific about some of those areas which are really of concern to him. For example, this hybrid, the fusion that we are practicing now, President Mahama is not a fan of it. And many presidents, if you talk to all the presidents of the Fourth Republic and a lot of governance analysts, you either go into parliament to be a legislator, to carry out oversight, or you want to be in the executive. Because in the process, it's really weakened our institutions, particularly parliament. So people go to parliament just to catch the eye of the president to serve as minister. And it also narrows the ambit, the orbit available to the president to appoint ministers. So because the constitution says majority should come from parliament, he is compelled to just look within parliament largely. So that is an area that I foresee will be relooked at. Then the president has also listened to the cry of Ghanaians on ex-gratia. And he stated specifically that ex-gratia will have to go. So that whole Article 71 arrangement, where we seem to have two classes of workers in Ghana, the Article 71 and then probably the others, and you see, it's done in such a way that over a period, the workforce in our country have become very, very, cynical, where the whole tripartite negotiations on wages is seen as just crumbs. They leave the crumbs for the rest of the workers. And then as for the Article 71 people, who are in the executive, in the legislature, and in the judiciary, and certain constitutional bodies, they reserve the fat the really juicy package for themselves. That perception doesn't help those of us who are in that Article 71 category. And I'm glad that the NDC is looking at amending that portion of the Constitution and having an independent emoluments commission.
Okay.
So with that one, this scratch my back, I scratch your back thing is taken away. You have an independent body that will look at conditions of service generally.
Okay.
So that it's not just about a few elites within a certain class determining for themselves what they should take. Then when they have taken the lion's share, they leave the crumbs for the rest of the workforce. So that should go. Then I'm also excited about the fact that the appointment of MMDCs, which many Ghanaians have complained. And you see, President Akufo-Addo once again, this is very tyrannical approach to leadership. We all built consensus on this matter. Yeah. All the political parties, civil society. And we said that it's time for it to go.
Yeah.
We were about to have the process amended because that's when you just need 2/3 in parliament. Then President Akufo-Addo said that no, he wants it to be done on a partisan basis. The rest of Ghana, when we went around listening to the people, civil society, the media, everybody said that no, we've had enough of this extreme partisanship everywhere. We want the MMDCs to be elected on a non-partisan basis. Because President Akufo-Addo noticed that he won't have his way, he threw the baby away with the bathwater. That okay, if you are not going to allow me to have this referendum or this amendment done in a way that the MMDCs will be elected on a partisan basis, then we won't do the election at all. And that's why we have stalled up to this point. So I am glad that the Ghanaian people have looked at all of this and said that, look, enough is enough. Because some politicians make excuses that, oh, we didn't get the numbers in parliament. Now they've given the NDC more than 2/3. We have no excuse. So for some of these non-entrenched provisions in the Constitution, which requires 2/3 majority, you have no excuse. So the election of MMDCs, I expect it to really come on board.
I'll let you hold on with that. I'll let you continue with this because it's very important for us to understand what exactly you expect from the review of the Constitution. But we're going to Yvonne Nikwe now. And in fact, we're told that the Electoral Commission office at Isuboy in the Yeswano constituency is under fire.
Oh, no.
And so, hello, Yvonne.
Hello, Bella.
What can you tell us?
Well, what I can say is that the office at Esubo, which belongs to the Electoral Commission, is under fire by alleged use of the NDC this afternoon. Now, that particular constituency, we do know that the Electoral Commission has already declared the results in favor of the NPP candidate, Ida, in that area. It used to be a seat that belongs to the NPP, but the NDC took it in 2020. This election, the NPP has retained it per the declaration by the Electoral Commission. And so this afternoon, it's unclear why the youth would have to go back to the Electoral Commission's office to burn it down if results have already declared.
The NDC youth or the NPP youth are the ones who set it on fire? Let's get some clarity.
Allegedly, the NDC youth.
The NPP youth?
Yes, NDC youth.
National Democratic Congress, you mean?
Exactly.
Okay, and they are not happy allegedly because the results were declared in favor of the NPP?
Exactly.
Have you been able to speak to anyone to ascertain if that's really true?
Well, the leaders of both parties are yet to make their way into that particular area, especially when 4 other constituencies have also not been declared. It's being a back and forth and tussle between them on resolving the constituencies that are hanging in Sawam, Suhum, and then Akwetia. And so for this particular one, that there's a vote difference of 1,000, 12,000, and a number and 11,000. It looks like they are not happy about the outcome. And so this is the action we're seeing from them, unfortunately, burning down the EC's office.
So you say in Sawam, Adwajiri has not been declared?
And Sawam Adwajiri has not been declared. Suhum has not been declared. Akwetia has not been declared.
And these 3 seats are all, well, is Akwetia MPP or NDC? At the moment, the incumbent?
At the moment, the incumbent is NDC.
NDC, yes. Okay, but then for Sawam Adwajiri and also for Suhum, the incumbents are MPP?
The incumbents are NPP.
What's causing the delay in announcing the results?
Well, during the coalition of the pink sheet, unfortunately, a number of them were banned. As to which party they belong to, we are yet to tell because all of the parties in that particular area believe that they have won the election. Unfortunately, pink sheets that belong to the EC, pink sheets that belong to both parties, so they cannot find all of them. They only have a portion of it, which is making it difficult for the EC to collate all of them and then do an official declaration. Today, since morning, we're seeing them at the new designated area at the Proposal Sector, but it didn't come on. It has to be held up. We're hoping that tomorrow, EC will return back to the coalition center and then announce the result. Otherwise, we are still seeing tensions in this particular constituency. Maybe we may be having these Ayenswano issues we're having on our hand, unfortunately.
All right. Now, going back to the issue concerning Ayenswano, is the fire service around?
Well, the fire service is around to quench the fire, as the police also pick up their men to ensure that there is peace and order in the area.
All right. Well, I'll wait some more details on this to find out exactly whether the concerns about, the NDC being the ones behind this is true or not. And so we'll come back to you again.
Sure.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's continue this conversation. I mean, this issue about unhappy party members allegedly destroying property and stuff, I think we've gone over it over and over again. But let's go back to the issue of the review, and then when we get confirmation as to exactly who did this, yes.
But just quickly, if the fire service can move in, because I'm surprised that I didn't see any fire van.
Yeah, but she said they're there.
Putting out.
She said they're there.
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't see that in the footage. Yeah. All right. So, constitutional reform is very important, and if you look at the governance arrangements that the NDC is proposing in our manifesto, it is really at the top, because we have noticed that in as much as this constitution created a lot of discretion, hoping that we'll have presidents who will really also be conscious about the public sentiment, public perception, all of that. We saw under President Akufo-Addo that he just can't be bothered. He checked out many years ago, and he didn't care about public sentiments. So on a number of issues that discretion was allowed, we are looking now at placing fetters. For example, appointing ministers. The Constitution does not put a ceiling, but we are willing to open up for discussions now when we go into constitutional reform. We don't want to have another Akufo-Addo who will say over 120 ministers. He doesn't care the implications on the public purse. The judiciary. President Akufo-Addo abused the no ceiling. Other jurisdictions have a ceiling. In Ghana, we don't have a ceiling. So that has also been put up for us to have a national discourse. Isn't it time to have a ceiling so that we don't have all of this abuse? Then even in terms of the quality, what people should possess when it comes to these appointments, the Constitution has been a bit broad. I have served on the appointment committee in Parliament for many years. When you are really looking at the criteria, the parameters, it's just so broad, sound mind, moral turpitude, and be a citizen, and really that's it. And so we have seen the abuse. Look at some of the people who are being appointed to the bench. Known party hacks, parliamentary candidates who are clearly sent there to go and do a hatchet job. I mean, and if you look at the Afrobarometer, confidence in the judiciary is at an all-time low. The courts, 35%, all-time low. So all of these matters have come up, and Ghanaians should expect that as we go into constitutional review. And so there's going to be clearly an overhaul of the Constitution where the powers of the president will have to be tamed.
Yeah.
There have been discussions now as well within the party, even about the appointment of certain key personnel. For example, the Electoral Commission. What happens in India is really interesting. In India, they don't give all the power to one person. They say you are going to play a football match with other teams, and then you want to choose the referee. It doesn't make sense to them. So what they do in India is that there is a public announcement, people advertise. Then the president, the opposition leader, and the chief justice form a panel, and then they select the electoral commission. You know, so that's quite interesting. Kenya also has some so that it reduces the suspicion. You know, so you now have a vicious cycle which Akufo-Addo has started, where he comes into power. I don't like Charlotte Osei. He claims he's a conveyor belt, and then they mastermind and get her out. Now people are asking, would Jimensa survive? You know, the conveyor belt theory should continue. You know, so, but we think that looking at the bigger picture, rising above the pettiness, we should have a second look at how these appointments are made. And it also fits into the appointment of the CDS, the IGP. Why is it that when you are in opposition, you don't have confidence in the security hierarchy, in those at the top, those who are appointed? And you always think that they are acting against you. But when you come into power, when you have appointed them, you appear okay, you appear fine. You know, so these are all larger issues. But ultimately, this constitutional reform should lead to strengthening our democracy.
Thank you for staying tuned. PENDREAM TV really appreciates your time. Please, if you have not yet subscribed as a new member, please do so for us. Hit the notification bell for more updates. Like and also share to other members to watch as well. Thank you.
I'm not PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.